So why don't you like and subscribe if you haven't already? You know, and if you want to tell me I'm full of shit, why don't you leave it in the comments? If you want to tell me that I'm not full of shit, why don't you leave that in the comments? If you think none of it matters, why don't you leave that in the comments? Just leave any of it down there. And if you have any video suggestions, send them to me at rshakenfist at Twitter, on Twitter, and, you know, stuff like that. So, enjoy the video. Yay.
Just say the word and you're forgiven, and have no fear 'cause he is risen. Before you realize the rapture ensues. In this world in front of me, becomes a fading memory. Rejoice just as the choir sings. Rejoice now. Tell me of a gift.
Hi everyone out there in the void, welcome back. Well, we finish up this series on Hypocrite Philosophy, sorry, I mean inspiring philosophy, and now he's telling Pints with Aquinas exactly why us atheists can't change our minds. So, that's fun. Let's just get into it, fuck it.
People build their worldviews. We all do it. We need to recognize this is the way we are, because the first step to realizing we have a problem is accepting it. We all want our worldviews, the beliefs we currently espouse to be true, because the lizard part of our brain lights up and we go, I don't want to be wrong on something.
Yes, you do. See, that's the interesting thing about atheism, isn't it? We profess that we don't know, like a lot. We don't know. And that's what science does. It helps us to know. So maybe we're not afraid of being proved wrong because we can't be proved wrong because we don't fucking know. Our best idea is this. And like even the idea of the Big Bang, even people go, well, the Big Bang definitely. I go, well, this is our best idea, right? We could be proven wrong in the future. This is just the best understanding of our knowledge at the moment. This is the best, you know, answer to all of the gathered information that we have. And because of that stance, it means that if we are proved wrong, it doesn't bother us nowhere near as fucking much. Because we haven't, I don't know, put our heart and soul and life into believing into something so hard that, well, I don't want to look stupid after being proved wrong into believing in God for the past 30 years, or 40 years, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's almost like I had to change my mind to be an atheist, because I want there to be a God. I want to think that I get to go to heaven and it's all fine and crusty if all I do is go, oh Jesus, I am so sorry and I did all the things and I'm such an evil person, but of course you forgive me, don't, because we're bros, right? And then I don't have to worry about not being in heaven forever. That'd be fantastic, but the thing is all the evidence doesn't point to that. So I do follow the evidence. It just disagrees with you. And instead of providing any evidence, you just want to rant and rave about how, I don't know, we the ones that can't, you know, but I suppose that's because really you're trying to muddy the waters with all the Christian viewers that are watching, because really, is there any point to arguing with an atheist? Because they're not going to believe any of your proofs, your truths.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know anything.
What? Perhaps you might be interested in reading more about it in our literature.
Oh, okay.
Please, borrow whatever you need.
Ooh, that plus that. Wow.
I need my juice.
Okay, well, enjoy our provisions while you digest our truths.
So why bother? Why like, that's the whole point of this, isn't it? Like, but, you know, you wouldn't be the one to say that, well, I suppose that maybe the Pishon is this and that really Havilah isn't Havilah and it's Arabia. Maybe the Pishon is the Wad Patan, even though that's a bunch of rivers and it's not even a consummate river. Like, oh my fucking god. Like, you know, maybe it doesn't mean Kush, and maybe it means Kaziite. I don't know. Like, maybe the Gihon actually goes into Iran, and maybe, I don't know, the opposite of poles is definitely the same as not as the head of a river, because it's a snapshot portrait, and that's definitely what's written in the Bible, because Kitchen said so and not God. And, you know, if we just wrangle it enough, then maybe, I don't know, maybe it's definitely these, and it all came together into this place, even though when you look at the map, all four of the rivers don't come together into any place. Look at the Tigris and the Euphrates turn into another river, and then they join up with the Wadi Patan and the river that you said was to be the Gihon. That is not in Jerusalem. That isn't a thing that you can pay and go and see with your eyes. That is there in the real world, because we're the ones that can't, you know, accept being wrong.
Perhaps it's the allegedly possibly might seems reliable. It seems probably as which appears to suggest. I will admit this last piece of data is a little speculative.
That's what I was telling myself when I took down my Exodus documentary and had to redo it. An hour-long documentary I uploaded. I was like, I cannot be given to my lizard brain. I know this is true about myself. I know I want it to be true, and I could easily make the evidence fit, but I know I got to do what's right. And that was hard. I mean, I literally cried. So, I mean, I know what it's like.
You brave little soldier.
So sad. He was wrong on a documentary, and he could have spuriously put things together, and then, oh my god. He didn't. Oh, I can't believe it. He didn't do it. It's so touching. Oh, he was wrong. And he admitted it. Oh, it's a whole hour-long documentary. Oh, you're wrong, dude. So what? Like, it happens to. I actually teared up a little bit. I was moved. I was touched.
You're moved. I am not moved. Shut up.
Like, really? Yeah, you made a mistake, or you spuriously put things together. You didn't do that in your Eden video, did you? No, you didn't do that in your Eden video. I know this one's a bit of a stretch. Like, even at the end you go, well, yes, I know that this one that ties some of the stuff together is definitely a stretch, but hey, it's for God, isn't it? My lizard brain says not to do that. Do you know what? If I found out that I made a video, I had a wrong thing in it, do you know what I'd do? I'd just fix it. Or does the original entire... I don't know. I didn't watch either of them. Was it so bad that the fundamentality of the... That's a word I made up there, I think. Was it such a fundamental mistake that fucking, you know, it ruined the entire video? Like, oh well. Tough. It's called a retraction. People have to do it all the time in the line of work. Get over it. Like, really? Oh, it's so sad. Getting sad about being wrong? Like, buck up.
Will you stop your damn sniveling, son? Buck up, Bart! Buck up!
You know what I mean? Like, everybody's wrong at some point. You can't go, we're human, and human is to err, and, you know, God says that we're imperfect. So why are you getting a bug up your ass about getting someone? Just take your video down. You know, like when you said that the Pishon isn't around and totally not in Jerusalem. Just take your video down. You know, just take it down. That's what you have to read. Because that's kind of fundamental to your whole thesis, isn't it? That you don't know where one of the rivers is, so you get to say that it flows into the land of the cashew. But of course not. No. What it really is, isn't it, is whether you think it's wrong or not. So if someone else tells you it wrong, well then, you don't like that so if I tell you that you're wrong about the Gihon, well, he's a shitty atheist, so I'm not going to believe him. Oh well. You know, my Christian buddy said maybe I should relook at something, and do you know what? Yeah, God spoke to me and he said that he's correct. It's not another form of confirmation bias whatsoever, is it? Because, of course, the other side never has anything interesting to say.
So when you tell me, you just give me enough evidence, I'll believe. I'm like, you're a human, man. That's not the way we work. I will give you the evidence, and I will argue this is true. But people will not, if people do not want Christianity to be true, they will not accept it. And I believe it was was it Pascal who said it? You know, like there's enough evidence out there for anybody who's willing to say that yes, this could be true, and but it's not forced upon us. It's not like in your face kind of thing.
Yeah, enough light for those.
And I think
to
that's
seek
just
it and
the
find
genius
it,
of God. It's there, but it's not
and
going to be
yet
forced
people
upon
have
you.
changed.
So you say Pascal goes, oh, you know, there's enough out there for he who has eyes to see. Isn't that a Bible thing? Anyway, that wasn't. When was Pascal alive? It wasn't like the 17th century or anything, was it? You know, it was really good in the 1600s. Physics. Do you know what we knew about in physics in the 1600s? Atoms. You know, we knew a lot about fundamental particles and fields, waves, ionic bonding. You know, all this different stuff that really cements the scientific theory of existence together, doesn't it? Theory, hypothesis. You know what I mean? And not that it. And before Christians want to misconstrue, not the hypothesis that we're fake or real, just, you know, like of the universal grand theory of everything, that hypothesis of the exact equation of reality, you know, and in the 1600s, Blaise Pascal really knew about Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, you know, Proxima Centauri, Betelgeuse,
and some pencil erasers for rubbing out mistakes. We've all made mistakes. I know I have.
Perhaps it's the allegedly seems reliable. It seems probably is, which appears to suggest. I'll admit this last piece of data is a little speculative.
Andromeda, you know, because the Virgo supercluster, quarks, all this different shit, you know, neutrinos, like, you know, he knew what a photon was, of course, and he knew all these things, and that's why he was able to say that with great certainty that all the information and all the proof he needs there for any who has the eyes to see. Do you know what? I went and looked up that Blaise Pascal quote because it just didn't sound right to me. And do you know what? What I found was there's enough light for those who only desire to see, and there is enough obscurity for those who have a contrary disposition. So, what Blaise Pascal is saying in the early 1600s is, well, everything's a bit up in the air, and, you know, I suppose there is definitely, you know, if you want to believe, here's all this, but we don't know enough stuff, so it makes it easy for the unbeliever to hide in his shadow. But this isn't the 1600s, right? We know, as I've been saying over and over again, so much about so much of the world, like, that shadow isn't really a shadow now, and we have the light, you see, because it's not just a daytime light that comes out with the sun, right, or a candle. We have electric lights and such, you see the shining on me now, you see, and then it illuminates everything because we know so much more, you know, if we're going to keep that stupid thing going. So, you know, if you want to misremember quotes to make it seem like you understand things a little bit better, well, that's fine. Just understand that little to and fro there shows exactly that you guys don't exactly know what the fuck you're talking about. Hey, whatever. It's only a shitty Blaise Pascal quote. But I suppose when you really think about it, what's going on is there isn't enough shadow for you theists anymore because science has illuminated so much for everything. And because we know so much of everything, we haven't found God one anywhere. Well, it's time to muddy the waters, make it a little harder to see, isn't it? You gotta put a smoke screen across so it makes it harder for people to see the truth that has been put across by other things. Not even the truth, what we know presently at this moment in time. Unlike, you don't have any self-reflection enough to go, well, maybe these people that keep on saying our arguments aren't proof really think that our arguments aren't proof. So maybe you're not giving us proof, you're giving us an argument. I can argue all day that the brain is a parasite. And then the brain is a parasite and inhabits your body and makes you think. And I could point to all sorts of stuff that could possibly show that. I've hung around with enough people on acid to make up all sorts of shit like this. It's not hard, right? The point is anyone enthusiastic enough or eloquent enough can convince anything of everyone, can convince anyone of anything. And that's supposed to be the beauty of science, is that science is a coalescence of facts that don't matter whether someone is eloquent or not. It's how things work.
But it's not going to be forced
people
upon
have
you.
changed their minds over facts.
Yeah.
Things that they didn't want to be true. So you're not saying don't give people arguments.
Me. Arguments aren't fucking proof. Get it through your fucking head. You can use proof in an argument, but an argument isn't proof. I don't get what's so hard about this. Just because it convinced you doesn't mean that it's proof. Flat earthers have plenty of proof that the world is flat, because they use wrong theory for working out the horizon. Anyway, but there's plenty of people that believe all sorts of... Well, my Uncle Dave said that all the brown people are coming over to steal all of the benefit money and all of the jobs at the same time. It's not proof, it's an argument. Nigel Farage and all these and Richard Tice and Boris Johnson and all these knobheads, they said that Brexit was a great idea. And their proof was their arguments. And then it happened and it was really bad. Because an argument isn't proof. I don't know how many times people have to tell you this. Arguments aren't proof. 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 Proof aren't arguments. Arguments aren't proof. Arguments aren't proof. Arguments aren't proof. Say it with me now. Arguments aren't proof. Not proof. No, it's not proof. The proof is the proof, not the argument. The argument isn't proof. Anybody can argue anything using any form of data they wish. They can lie through omission and all sorts because arguments aren't proof. It's like, the thought experiment proves it. No, it doesn't. The thought experiment gives the idea legitimacy so it can be tested more thoroughly.
No, give people arguments for sure.
Arguments aren't.
But I mean, just accept that if they're not open, they're going to find any way they can to dismiss it. And I got to accept I may be doing that the same.
Exactly. I was about to say that. It obviously cuts both ways.
It
there
does.
are Christians who might say, give me the evidence and I'll become an atheist. And you'd say exactly the same thing, presumably.
I mean, yeah. And you know what? I'm a theistic evolutionist. And you know what happened was is an atheist online said, if you were to, could you just look at this a little more objectively? The same thing earlier, a few years ago, a Christian told me to do with the Gospels. And I was like, oh, that hit me hard. And I was like, all right, I will. So I read Jerry Coyne. I read some, I'm like, you know what? I guess I'm convinced. And this is just the way it is.
I know I'm supposed to believe in God. And God says trust in him and not your own understanding. But, Jerry Coyne said a thing. Kitchen says another thing. Habermas might say one thing. And all these different Christian scholars might say one thing here or there because they're making arguments. They're all using arguments to try and prove something. Michael Cohen, they all do it. It's all arguments. It's not proof. It's all conjecture. Well, Jesus definitely was resurrected. What's your proof? Well, the tomb was empty. Oh, the tomb was empty. Right. So where's the tomb again? Well, we don't know. And that's how we prove it, because we don't know. And since we don't know, it showed that the Christians didn't care about the tomb because the tomb wasn't important, showing that he resurrected. It's not proof, it's conjecture. It's one leading statement, followed by a next leading statement, followed by another leading statement. And all these leading statements lead you to a conclusion because it's an argument. It's a path to be followed to revelation. But it's not proof. If I was going to prove oxygen, I could take some oxygen, right, and I could mix it with hydrogen and make water or make rust and all these different things and go, see, this is this thing that does that. And then actually I could take, I don't know, like an electron microscope and actually show you some of the actual, imaging of an oxygen atom and see this. And then there's a bunch of ways to prove what different atoms are because we can test them and they always have the same reactions with everything under... if we go, hey, we put a pressure at this, we put the temperature at this, and blah, 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 and if we can do it time and time again, it proves its existence, doesn't it? And this... Have you seen a watch? Proof, remember?
And Christians today still attack me for it.
So you denied evolution and then changed your mind on it. I
Yeah.
see, yeah.
And yet, every time I got to change my worldview, it hurts. It hurts my brain. I don't want to accept I'm wrong on something.
Well, aren't you a pretty little snowflake? It just hurts so much, man. My pride goeth before a fall. The idea that you should have some ultimate understanding of anything in the universe when you purport to believe in, like, 100%, this, like, God that cannot be experienced properly and you can't fully know because he is unknowable, and all these different adjectives that you put on him, right? That say he's kind of incomprehensible because he is the human looking down upon ants. And like the ant trying to understand the human, he is incomprehensible. But, oh, it's so painful to be wrong. Well. I'm proved wrong about many things. And do you know the time I get hurt when I'm wrong? Is when I'm wrong in interpersonal relationships. That's when it hurts. And I suppose that's why you feel it hurts, because you feel you have an interpersonal relationship with an imaginary friend. 3 imaginary friends, and depending on if you worship any saint or whatever. Because you think you have this interpersonal relationship with the person who speaks to you and guides you through life.
Someone I trusted, someone who's guiding me, counseling me, guidance counseling me, which is what I am.
Well, then being wrong feels like betrayal, doesn't it?
It's still real to me, damn it!
So, how, if just a question, I never get a full answer from Thea. So, I once believed that there was no evolution, and then the proof was so much that there was. So when did the evolution happen? Was it after an Adam and Eve? Was it before Adam and Eve? Was it not actually 7 days, and it was 7,000 because a day of God is 1,000 years? Even though evolution still doesn't work that fast. It never has. It took 1 billion years before multicellular life came. You know what I mean? And we have proof of these things. So which bit of creation in Genesis am I supposed to be especially blown away by? When evolution says, actually, evolution has been going for millions and millions of years. Where do the millions and millions of years come in the Bible? Is that why it's so hard? Because, well, bit by bit, I guess it's not real. It is real as I thought it was. Oh dear, I've been lied to my entire life by everyone around me. No wonder it hurts. Yeah, it does hurt. Because everyone around you has been lying. And then when you find out that everyone's lying, everyone clams up, doesn't like you as much, and goes, well, he's fallen from the path. And they start to demean you behind your back. It's almost like it would be hard to move away from that line of thinking, and it would be painful. But, when the LHC found the Higgs boson and went, oh my god, it's not a wave, it's not a particle, it's a wave. I didn't go, oh, Jesus fuck Christ, oh, why does thine strike me on thine heart? No, I went, oh cool, that's fucking amazing. That means that maybe a lot of fundamental physics has to change. It made me excited. It brings possibilities of new levels of being. And not just like, and I don't just mean us, like as in our minds. I mean like, oh shit, maybe we'll get further into the nanowaves. Maybe this is the point of like technological advancement that will bring quantum computing or whatever. You know what I mean? There's all sorts of things that can happen. Anytime you find any kind of discovery, especially at a fundamental particle level of physics, like, if we suddenly went, oh my god, the speed of light isn't the same as what we thought it was, and it can move faster. What? Any fundamental change I find actually amazes me. I thoroughly wish I could believe in God. But there is no proof of God, so I should believe the proof, shouldn't I? Alright. Let's say finding out about the Higgs boson isn't, the same drastic change as becoming Christian or not Christian. I wasn't angry when I turned into an atheist. I didn't get sad that God wasn't talking to me anymore. I was angry that I was duped. I was angry that everyone around me lied to me. And then just when I needed people to, like, go there to me, I shunned, kicked out of church for asking inconvenient questions. Like, there was no support. And that hurt. because I thought all the people around me were close to me, and they weren't. They weren't close to me in the slightest. They were pretending to be close to me to make themselves look better in front of God, because that's all that mattered. Like, because it wasn't about being there for a friend or a family member or whatever. It wasn't about that, was it? It was about protecting themselves from the bad thoughts that other people have and the inconvenient questions that they come up with and the problems they have with religion. Because it might comport with their problems with their God and their religion. And it might comport with the doubts they have. And it might compile. And they're too afraid to confront that themselves because the whole religion is built upon the predication that you must be afraid of hell. And burning forever and ever 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 and ever. Just pain and fire forever and torture. And you have to be afraid of that, because that is totally what makes something believable is fear. Fear makes everything believable. I'm afraid. I'll believe anything. Make me not afraid. Console me. Why don't you just hold me? Just a little bit. I just need human contact.
You know, the video I'm taking, I'll take it down. I just keep delaying it because I hate myself for being wrong on something. But I'm going to redo it in June, and I just hate the fact that I was wrong on something. But I mean, here's another thing I got to fix.
And yet, clearly, God's existence could be more evident.
Could be.
Isn't. And that's not a problem because...
Because the earth is round and people still don't believe it.
Right, yeah. You know what? Yeah, totally. God is real because... And it doesn't have to show hiddenness because, well, people will believe anything, yo. Well, doesn't that mean that's more of a reason for him to at least try and turn up and go, hey, I'm fucking real, yo? Do you not think? If people will just believe any willy-nilly bullshit, that should be the reason that the God should come out and go, all right, we're in a different age now, okay? This isn't the Romans. This, we have science. We have sciences. We have all this stuff. And people are disbelieving because of my hiddenness. All right, I'll show up. There you go, you can record me, do your test, do whatever, you can show that I'm real. I'll come around, I'll touch everyone on the knee, he's all powerful, he can do that. Like, he could do that, appear to everyone at the same time, doing the same thing. And you couldn't, and everyone said, yeah, do you know what, he turned up at mine at 3:30 yesterday as well. And do you know what, I took a picture of him, and it's the same guy. And everybody... took pictures of the same guy at the same time, everywhere across the world at once? Yes. You couldn't even say it was mass delusion. Like, come on. There is ways that he'd be able to do it, and being that he is all-knowing, he would know how to do it. He would know how to convince people. Like, convincing someone isn't the matter of going, yes. No, that's not how it works. You either believe or you don't. It's like when they go, oh, what? You know, like, oh, he brought up Pascal before. Why don't you just believe, man? I'm sick of it. Just fucking believe. What have you got to lose? I don't know, free will. Like, come on. You can't just tell me to believe in something and, oh, I believe in it. That's not how it works. Like, people would say, you didn't, so you said, oh, well, I changed my mind in evolution. All right, you changed your mind in evolution. Well done, by the way. So, somebody said evolution's real, and you went, and then somebody showed you a bunch of proof, and you went, oh, right, it is. So, actually, yes. So, is it only you that can change your mind? Are you the only one that are good enough to change your mind? Because, I just hate being wrong. Well, that eating video says, otherwise, the Gihon is definitely in Iran. And the Bethlehem and Onyx, I know the Bible talks about it, but Kitchen doesn't. Fuck them. Like... It just hurts me so much to think that I might be wrong about something. My intellect is just so strong. I know I have to take it down and it's wrong, but I feel it might be persuasive, so I'm just going to leave it up there more with my fake guilt.
Look, God could show up in some people's, people like Aaron Raw, Matt Dillon have said these kinds of similar things. Like, if God, people have asked if God appeared before you, would you believe in God? And they've said things like, no, I could be hallucinating.
Yeah.
Again, people will find excuses to.
Oh, they'll just find excuses. They'll just find excuses. Even though, I'm not so sure about Aaron Ra, but I know Matt Dillahunty has definitely said on several occasions he doesn't know what would take it because, well, I don't know. You don't know what's going to change your mind about something. You know what I mean? He's even said, actually, you know what he could do? He could change my mind. Because I can't willingly change my mind. I can't just suddenly go, do you know what? Yes, the world is flat. But if Aaron Ra and Matt Dillahunty say, then all of them are like that, aren't they? Because, you know, Christians are like atheists, and they think in one concordant group.
I think, and some people will say, they'll say, no, if God did appear, I would believe. And I'm like, you might. I mean, that might be just another way for you to tell yourself these relaxing things. Could be, could not be. This could just be a way of you, trying to feel comfortable with yourself and not feel like you're, doing this.
So then what advice would you give to the person who says, if there's arguments, I do want to change my mind? Presumably it's not, no, you wouldn't. So what?
The advice I give is this in talking to the person, accept that you won't. First of all, the first step is accepting that's just not who you are. That's not the way you think. That's not the way you are, except you have a problem. You do want all your current beliefs to be true. I want all my current beliefs to be true. I have to fight that every day. And I hope I'm getting better. I may not be. I hope, though. So just accept, first of all, that's not the way you think. And then try very, very hard. I mean, like very hard to just study the evidence objectively. Look at the Gospels with the principle of charity.
Just look at the evidence. Look at the evidence objectively. Just really try to look objectively, but with charity. You know that you can't look objectively and with charity at the same time. One would be bias. Looking at it charitably, that would be a bias that you're putting on there. It's not objective. It's a bias because you're a fucking duplicitous asshole. That's why. Because, hey, I want you to look objectively, but I want you to come to my point of view, so look at it charitably.
People will kill you over time. They will shave out every last morsel of fun in you with little harmless sounding phrases that people use every day. Like, be realistic. Can't you just for half a second be realistic? Now what that means is see reality my way or die. And nobody ever said to anybody, be realistic, let me oil you.
Oh, right, yeah. So, look at the Gospels charitably. All right, so the resurrection of Jiren, the daughter of the fucking rabbi, which version? Is it the one where he tells her to tell everyone, or the one where he doesn't? Should we look at Mark charitably when it says that, Jesus rose, and then when God saw it, but he didn't tell it, the people saw it and didn't tell anyone. Oh, well, we had to write our way out of that, and that came, a couple 200 years later. Gotta look at it charitably. That bit of the gospel that says, hey, by the way, there was a giant Roman census that made everyone go back to the place they were born in. That never happened. Yeah, and they all give different dates for different shit. Like, did he die before or after or during the Passover? They all have all these different points. What did fucking Judas do with the fucking 8 pieces of silver? Did he give them back, or did he buy a farm? Did he die by hanging, or did he die by falling on the ground because he tripped? There's all these differences in the fucking Gospels and Acts, which is technically a gospel because it's a continuation of John. Is it John? Yes. They're like sequel. Luke's in the middle, and it shouldn't be. But that's, there's so many things wrong in the Gospels with each other. And we're supposed to believe one of them because one of them isn't trying to say that Jesus is a Jew. Another one of them isn't trying to say that Jesus is man with no being inhabited by God. Another one isn't trying to say that he's divine. Because, oh Father, why have you forsaken me? I suddenly feel pain on the cross because I had divine in me and now he's left so I could die. Or it is done because nothing hurt him and it didn't fucking matter. Which version? Yes, let's look at it objectively and with charity. My charity says that you can take Gary Habermas and you can take Michael Kona and all the circle of fucking reasoning and all this maze-like fucking thinking bullshit you've got to do to get around all the contradictions in the Bible. You can tap it up your fucking ass. Look at it objectively with charity. Go fuck yourself. Or is that looking at it charitably? Well, I suppose Eden says that it's, one river that turns into four, but if I look at it charitably, because it doesn't make sense, well, then it's four rivers that come into one, because that's charitable. I'm objective, because it's charitable to say that this river that we definitely know where it is, because it's a spring in fucking Jerusalem, well, it's charitable to say, to make my story make sense, that it's in Iran, because it's charitable.
Look at the evidence for the resurrection. I recommend Mike Lacona's book and the methodology he uses on the resurrection. So he says, look, a theory to explain historical facts has got to have explanatory scope, explanatory power, plausibility, the least ad hoc, provide illumination. The resurrection theory has all of that. It is the least ad hoc. It is the most plausible. It explains all the facts around early Christianity with the least amount of assumptions. It also has plausibility because it has evidence from other arguments for God's existence. I mean, you may come to a different conclusion. I'm going to disagree with you, but that's all I can do at the end of the day. I can't psychoanalyze you. I can just present the evidence and say, this is why I think it's true. And we debate it. But try to look at the evidence as objectively as you can and accept that you can't. That's what we...
Yeah. So we developed a thing called a scientific method, which takes away that sort of bias. And the amount of things we found out is ludicrous. Have you seen technology? Have you seen what we can do with anything? Have you seen fusion reaction? The fact that we can print organs, like we have started to be able to turn off genes that cause genetic deformities. It's almost like we're being able to control everything around us because the scientific method has told us so much about the world in which we live that will never, ever, ever, could ever be explained by your fucking Bible and by your fucking religiosity. Never. It could never come up with it. It needed a fact-based and evidence-based system of testing to find out this shit, because I don't know, it's almost like that's what happened. But of course, we're the ones that can't fucking, we're the ones that can't accept evidence when our entire focus of reasoning is based upon a method that is evidential based. It's almost like you're talking about yourselves and it's nothing but a big mirroring act. That's all it is. It's just mirroring. Because you're the ones with the problems haven't changed in your mind. Because you're so certain of what everything is. When we're not. And we'll happily tell you we're not. But because it's not the way you think, you can't have empathy and think, oh, maybe they don't think exactly like we do. Because they don't have a certainty of how everything is. Like, so happy that I don't have to talk about this guy for a little bit. He hurts my brain. Unless there's another tasty video that any of you people want me to make fun of. I'll debunk anything. Hey, challenge me, motherfuckers! Bring me the challenge! Oh yeah.